Cop laughs at black girl for saying her mom's a federal She walks onto the scene. The sun blazed over the quiet suburban neighborhood, the kind of summer afternoon where the heat seemed to shimmer off the sidewalks. 16-year-old Maya Johnson walked steadily down the street, her backpack bouncing lightly against her shoulders. She had just finished basketball practice, still dressed in her maroon team uniform. Sneakers dusty, and hair pulled back into a ponytail. She ducked into a corner store, grabbed a bottle of cold water, and stepped back outside only to be startled by the sound of screeching tires. A police cruiser swerved to the curb, lights flashing, even though there was no emergency. "Hey! You there, stop!" a voice barked. Maya froze, bottle in hand. "Me?" she asked, glancing around in confusion. The officer, a tall man with a hard expression, stepped out. His eyes swept over her with suspicion. "Yeah, you. We've had reports of suspicious activity in the area. Empty your bag." Maya blinked, stunned. "Sir, I just came from school. I haven't done anything." The cop narrowed his eyes. "I don't want excuses!" "Bag." Now, her heart thudded against her ribs. She knew she was innocent, but the tone in his voice made her feel cornered. "Sir, with all due respect," she said carefully, "I don't want any trouble. My mom is waiting for me at home." The officer gave a short, humorless laugh. "Yeah, sure. That's what they all say?" Trying to keep her voice steady, Maya added, "You can call her if you want. She's a federal judge." For a second, there was silence. Then, the officer burst out laughing. "A federal judge. That's the best joke I've heard all week." He leaned casually against his cruiser, smirking. "What's next?" "Your dad's the president?" "Kid, don't waste my time with lies." People nearby had started to notice. A small crowd formed, watching with curiosity as Maya stood frozen, cheeks burning. She clenched her fists at her sides, fighting back tears. He didn't believe her, not because of what she said, but because of who he thought she was. Then, just as the tension peaked, the hum of an engine grew louder. A sleek black SUV pulled up to the curb. The back door opened, and out stepped a woman who seemed to command the air around her. Tall, poised, and dressed in a crisp navy suit, Judge Angela Johnson walked with unshakable confidence, her heels clicking like a gavel striking wood. "Officer," she called, her voice sharp, carrying across the street. "Why are you detaining my daughter?" The crowd went silent. The officer's expression shifted from smug to stunned. "Wait, your daughter?" "Yes," Angela snapped. She reached into her bag and flashed her federal credentials. "Judge Angela Johnson, United States District Court. You are harassing a minor who has committed no crime. Explain yourself." I didn't know," the officer stammered. "That's exactly the problem." She cut him off. Her tone was steady, but laced with fury. "You didn't know. You assumed she was lying? You assumed because she's young, black, and confident enough to speak for herself that she couldn't possibly be telling the truth. That is bias, officer. And bias has no place in law enforcement." The officer's mouth opened, then closed again. No words coming out. Around them, murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some people shook their heads in disapproval. Others whispered to one another about what they had just witnessed. Judge Johnson placed a protective hand on Maya's shoulder, her voice softening as she spoke to her daughter. "You don't have to defend yourself when you're telling the truth." "They should listen." Maya straightened, her mother's words lifting the weight from her chest. The tears she had held back were gone, replaced by a quiet pride. For the first time, the officer saw not just a girl, but the daughter of a woman who carried justice in her every step. As Angela guided Maya toward the SUV, the officer stood frozen, shame etched on his face. His smug grin had vanished, replaced with the heavy realization of his mistake. The lesson lingered long after they drove away. Never judge someone by appearances. True authority isn't in a uniform or a badge, it's in fairness, dignity, and respect.